already, you fucking...
Cartoon Network!
Cartoon Network implodes!
Thurman, introduce this video.
So, as all of you know, we, like cartoons and all that good stuff, right? Animation, all that shit. So, big news happening in the cartoon industry. The head of Cartoon Network just stepped down, Christina Miller. So, this video is to talk about her legacy from 2014 to now.
And from what I understand, mostly just to shit on her.
I mean, if you
not as a person, but as a Cartoon Network runner.
Yeah.
We're gonna strap her down and shit on her.
No, we're gonna.
This is a completely opinionated. If you think she did a great job running Cartoon Network for the past,
then it's okay to be wrong.
14, 18, what is that?
If you think she did a great job running Cartoon Network, you must really like Teen Titans Go.
And only Teen Titans Go.
Forever.
Yeah. So this video is us talking about.
Yeah, continue, Thurman. Continue.
Why'd you fucking interrupt him? Let him continue.
So okay. So I guess I'll start off here. Me personally, right? From because I wouldn't say I watch TV that much anymore. I'm gonna be real. Most of my time is spent on YouTube or on my concerts and whatnot. But for the main reason why that is because I'm gonna be honest with you, the schedule blocking. And I have a big opinion on this, is that oversaturation of one cartoon is never a good thing. Because if you actually go back and look at the scheduling, like some people used to show like the scheduling for like the months of Cartoon Network, it was literally Teen Titans Go the entire way down with like maybe like 2 or 3 like cartoons, right? Like it would be like Teen Titans Go, and then like new episode of Adventure Time, Teen Titans Go, new episode of Amazing World of Gumball, rerun, and then Teen Titans Go, right? Like it would just be oversaturation, and that literally turned me off as someone who at least wanted to try to watch cartoons again, because it's just like, okay, well, if there's something on TV that I'm not gonna watch, I'm gonna immediately go to watch something else. Like it was the same thing with Nick, right? If Cartoon Network was shitty one day, you go to like either Disney or Nickelodeon. So I think one of the biggest turn off of Cartoon Network was one of her biggest downfalls I smack, okay? Sue me, Red.
I just
right?
said in the chat, take a shot every time Thurman smacks his lips. Why are you fucking looking at chat? Pay attention to the video.
So, because I got the notification bits. Anyway, so I really think that one of the biggest downfalls that she had at her decision making of making oversaturation is just a little bit much. And now keep in mind, okay, I'm not just saying that because I'm not really that big a fan of Teen Titans Go. This goes for all cartoons. Like even like cartoons I'm biased against, like Amazing World of Gumball, Mao Mao, regular show, whatever. If her decision to oversaturate the scheduling block with just one cartoon, I think that's bad. 100%. I think oversaturation of one thing is never a good thing, especially
what's the point, just jumping in here, what's the point of having a fucking TV channel if you're only going to play one thing? Like, especially in the era of streaming where you can be like, Alexa, fucking, how do I find 700 episodes of this right now? And she'll direct you right to that. You know what I mean? It's like,
you can stream it on Amazon Prime Video.
You can go kill yourself, you fucking loser. But, like, yeah, so, like, if you're going to have a TV station, you should probably attempt to do something unique about, like, something that makes it worth watching. And one of the things that is kind of cool about TV in this day and age where we just, I want this, I get this. One of the things that I miss is kind of that, like, finding something randomly, right? So, like, it was a lot easier to find new things back in the day because you'd just be watching and it'd be there and you'd be like, oh, I like this. Whereas now we can kind of get in our bubbles of like watching the same shit over and over again because
let's watch The Office of 5,000.
Yeah. Which, by the way, are you calling out my friend Catherine? Like literally, like, we're all sitting there, Netflix Office. It's like, no, stop it, you British.
No.
But like, yeah. So like, if there's gonna be one thing a TV station should do, it should be the opposite of that. And fucking play a huge variety. I'm assuming you own the entire catalog of everything Cartoon Network's ever had. Fucking Play some Johnny Bravo. I don't care if you want to go from Johnny Bravo to fucking Teen Titans Go to fucking Destroy, Build, Destroy, back to fucking Johnny Bravo to Cow and Chicken, Ed, Ed and Eddie, like all this bullshit.
Well, we'll get to those in a bit.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, David?
Okay, so to me, the downfall that was Cartoon Network's destruction, and now it's starting to resurface into some semblance of sanity. It was back in the Stuart Snyder era where we had the, you know what? Cartoon Network is going to do a bunch of live action bullshit.
Pull the
Destroy, build.
You know what that was, dude? That was just Cartoon Network trying to capitalize on Disney's and Nickelodeon's live action show success.
Those had fucking hearts.
Like, they actually had some good, like Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, amazing. iCarly, amazing. Drake and Josh, amazing. But like nothing that was live action from
Power Prep
was that I remember was good.
I'm literally on Wikipedia here with a bunch of their bullshit.
Well, he's looking on Wikipedia. May I shit on Destroy, Build, Destroy, please?
No, 1 second. Remember, dude, what would happen? Or Brain Rush? Yeah, no.
Brain Rush?
We don't. Yeah, that was a thing. I'm on the.
Is that where
list.
like all the kids did like fucking LSD and then like we just watched them on a live stream for like 24 hours?
There was a fucking ridiculous live action game show that lasted all of a fucking month.
Yeah, it's because all the kids died.
Yeah.
Thank you for that laugh, Thurman.
6
Same
episodes.
joke over and over again, so many times.
It got to the point to where it was just like they were trying to do what Sony did with like whenever Nintendo does something good, they make something innovative. Sony's like, oh shit, write that down.
Write that down.
We can do it too.
They copy the homework.
Remember PlayStation Move? How quickly did that die?
It didn't. It's part of the fucking VR.
Yeah, but when was the last time anyone made a game for it that wasn't like fucking Bejeweled?
Trevor Saves the Universe.
That's fair. It's a Rick and Morty guy.
So
either way, though, what about better idea. What about the fucking back touchscreen for the Vita?
That 3 games used.
Wow.
Gravity Rush, Uncharted.
Yeah, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? We'll put a touchscreen on the back.
Wipeout.
That'd be like if you're. Can you imagine? Oh my god. So dumb. And by the way, I'll shit on Nintendo when they do this too. The 3D and the 3DS also pretty dumb.
3 games there use that well.
No, I mean they used it, but like didn't use it effectively and like specifically for games. No, it was just a gimmick. Like 3D has always been. But back to Destroy, Build, Destroy specifically. Are you guys aware that like in that in that show they would have like how do you want to destroy this thing? And one of the options was like an RPG, and then like they shoot it with an RPG. Like you can tell, and like they don't actually shoot it with an RPG because those are children. That's way too dangerous. They like pretend like they're shooting with an RPG, and then it's just like a 9/11 conspiracy theory style fucking pre-planned explosion goes off under the thing. They never shot a goddamn RPG in that show. I looked it up.
Really? Are you trying to big IQ that shit?
No, that's annoying to me. As a child, when I watched that shit,
besides fucking terrorists.
Listen, when I watched that, what are you talking about? Excuse me?
Who is going to give an RPG to kids besides fucking terrorists?
No, they don't have to. Just have the adults do it. Have a dude come in and shoot an RPG. They didn't even, like, why fucking pretend and lie to us that we're gonna shoot this with an RPG? That pisses me off.
Because they capitalized on fucking kids being obsessed with shooters.
Fuck them. You know how much easier it'd be? Just fucking pull a Mythbusters. Have a fucking professional come in and be like, don't try this at home, kids. Why the fuck did you lie to me?
That's true. That's true, to be honest, because here's the thing, right? I mean, because what's funny about Destroy Build Destroy was that there are actually shows like that on other channels that did something similar to that, and they actually had real shit, right? They just had professionals do the more dangerous shit.
Why the fuck fake it?
Right?
That's so dumb. Like, the whole point of that show was let's destroy these things in different ways, but it was always the same way, because it was like every single explosion-based thing, it was just like a pre-planned explosion. So it was nothing different. It was, so annoying.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. The whole fucking real Cartoon Network block was just a shameless cash grab, because it was what that block really was. It was just a shitty try of capitalization on popular live action shows, and it was just like they were trying to find actors. Because here's the thing, right? One of the biggest things, the reason why Disney and Nick were so popular is because the kid actors that they had were timeless, right? They are people who actually went out there and did other things. Of course, of course,
and that
Disney
proved that they succeeded, because like you still remember theirs,
Yeah, like and it got to the point to where like hell, it was like a very like it was like negative, like there was a whole stereotypical stigma against Disney, because majority of the kid Disney actors turned to shit when they got older. They had bad issues. Miley Cyrus, Zac Efron, like like majority of the kid actors that were at Disney didn't really end up enjoying adulthood that much, because they had. Because
Which
of the
makes
stigma
me think that, like, well, there's two things to that, right? Like, either A, Disney treated them so horribly, or B, more likely, just people aren't meant to be famous that young.
Parents.
Yeah, because I mean, like, majority of them ended up doing drug abuse.
Doing drug abuse, yes.
I mean, they're yeah, you know what I mean.
They're doing all the drugs and abusing them.
Today, Mr. Smith, you are on trial for doing the manslaughter.
So, and Nickelodeon
you are on trial for smuggling the heroin.
Well, that makes more sense. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead, Thurman.
Like, like Nickelodeon have their stars, Miranda Cosgrove, she did stuff. Ariana Grande, extremely huge. Now she's a famous singer. She's done a good shit. Like they have Nick and Disney had long-lasting shit. But do you remember, like, 2 or 3 actors from Cartoon Network's live action shit besides the one Bobby kid who got famous off of the PSP commercials?
Like,
I remember Andrew WK.
Like, Nickelodeon had an amazing thing. Nickelodeon had that, like, you remember Pick Boy, Thurman?
Yeah.
Yes. You remember, like, and then you'd go on and vote what shows would play?
Yeah.
That shit was great. I always tried to vote because, like, underrated shows, right? Because, like, SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents would always win. And I was like, fucking Wild Thornberrys, fucking Rocket Power, you fucks. I was a very jaded child.
So going back to the point of the video here is that Cartoon Network clearly has had issues with management over the years, and
God, yes.
A lot of people talking about Christina Miller, how she so for my gather for saying that she ruined Boomerang, because the point of Boomerang
that's insane to me that Boomerang plays Teen Titans Go. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Boomerang,
Teen Titans Go, Bunnicula, all these newer shows.
Like, my dad would watch Boomerang because he loved Looney Tunes, and I had to fucking deal with my dad being like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, I feel you, Dad.
It's Boomerang was a whole point of Boomerang section was to play old cartoons that Cartoon Network was not going to play anymore. Like, there were literally points at night where they would play, like, Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack. Like, that was all a night block, right? And then during the day, they would have, like, maybe, like, 1 or 2, like, new shows of old cartoons, but they'll still play, like, Looney Tunes, they play Huckleberry Hound, Pink Panther, Duck Dodgers, like, a lot of – it was basically just, like, a Netflix version of, like, old school, like, 1990 cartoons to, like, 2010, right? And I guess she butchered that with new shows that no one cared for, right? And here's the thing, and I don't know if she affected Adult Swim that much. I haven't really seen people complain about Adult Swim. That'd be more on your edge, Dave. I don't know, but my thing is that clearly, I'm not gonna blame her 100% for all the decisions, because I'm pretty sure some of them are probably done by like Warner, up like the higher ups above her. But I still feel like she had a hand in most of it, right? So here's the thing, and what I would probably say for just how they could probably do better, how the new CEO can do better, is just don't focus too much on one thing, right? Like go back, reevaluate what made Cartoon Network and Boomerang so good, right? Like reevaluate why people wanted to watch your block instead of Nickelodeon or Disney in the first place, right? Because Cartoon Network has been a staple of America for years, for decades. Like, Cartoon Network is something that we all grew up with. Even if you weren't that big a fan of cartoons per se, you still know what Cartoon Network is. Like, that was still you growing up. You still know the cartoons that came from, that whatever era you were raised in. So I think what they need to do is take a step back and realize, okay, clearly we've had two eras of shitty people making shitty decisions because corporates do that type of shit, right? Because we have to remember that Cartoon Network is still technically a business. It's still a corporation. They want that green, right? So what can they do is, I would say, hire someone like how Nintendo hired somebody new who's more progressive. And I'm not talking about someone who's going to make every, full-on, a cartoon about a bunch of the LGBT.
No. Don't high Guardian Spice this shit.
A bunch of, it's a whole cartoon full of black people and talk about how black they are. Not
Only Thurman could get away with that joke, by the way.
That's why we have him here.
I'm talking about progressive as in something similar to Bernie Sanders or Andrew Yang style progressive, right?
Someone that has new ideas, right? That isn't going to be fucking stooped in the typical corporate. Let me just take this over because Thurman's he's about to go into a spiral that we don't even want to know. Basically, someone who is just smart and knows what people want. So what he means by this is when Nintendo got taken over by whoever
Doug
ushered
Bowser
on the Switch, the Switch brought Nintendo back from the grave, right? It was here's the Switch. It's crazy, it's unique, but in a good way, not in a gimmicky way. Here's all these games that everyone has wanted forever. Here's oh, we're gonna have Earthbound finally downloadable. We're gonna make another Metroid Prime. We're gonna, all the things that people just didn't expect them to do. We're doing it. Oh, you want fucking Zelda DLC? It's happening. You want Smash Brothers DLC? More of it, even though we said no more? Fuck yeah, we're doing it. Just someone that seems very in touch with what people want. And I'll give you an example. If this guy comes back and he's guess what, bitches, we're bringing back Cartoon Fridays, I'd be oh, he's clearly he's the one,
He knows the way.
Yeah.
Bro, do you remember Cartoon Fridays, Thurman?
Yep.
Or the city bumpers, the ones where it was like the in between the ads where they were all in one cartoon city. I love that shit.
Yeah, that was fucking great.
Because it made it feel like it was one connected world. That was the MCU before the MCU was an MCU.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree.
So we got Harvey Birdman's creator as the interim president right now. After Miller steps aside. So we have somebody that's a creator. We have somebody that really knows what the fuck they're doing from a perspective of a showrunner, which is refreshing instead of having some suit in there. But what we've had in the 27 years that Cartoon Network has been around is this almost fucking political play of we have all the hands right in the cookie jar here, and we're going to fucking shift from person to person to person every time that something goes wrong. It's passing the blame 101, and that's really, really horrible from a viewer standpoint. The more you look at it, the more drama that's been going on behind the fucking scenes. So hopefully with a showrunner / creator in the background now, we'll have a clear direction of this worked, this worked, this worked. This doesn't. Let's cut this bullshit here. Let's take away 75 episodes of Teen Titans Go per day and just go forward that way. What do you guys think?
I agree with that because I think if someone who knows what it's like to create a cartoon, right? Someone who clearly knows the creator's struggle, knows the cartoonist's struggle. I think someone and keep in mind that this guy is someone who, if he made Harvey Birdman, that was a very popular show on Adult Swim. People still reference that show to this day. That's a timeless show. I assume you both would agree with me on that.
That's an old school show too, right?
Yeah. So this guy is doing this guy definitely knows his homework, right? So if they have something like that in there, I think they'll be fine. Just my issue is that sometimes the like I always say, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So hopefully he isn't the type of person that will bend the knee to his corporation, right?
Bend the knee.
Well, yeah, because there's always going to be, like, the most idiotic people in the world are, like, what's the word? Like, advisors, right? Like there are whole groups of people that make a living, like, advising. Like, well, study groups say this, focus groups say this. We got a group of children into a room and ask them what they like, and they say this. You know what I mean? And, like,
they like pretty colors and the word yeah.
Exactly, right? So, like, it's the same shit with, like, politics. Like, there's politicians where it's like, okay, well, they don't like it when you point, so never point at anyone. You know what I mean? And then they get overcoached and no one likes them. So the best kind of leaders say fuck off to those analytics and those fucking, like, focus group testings and all that shit, and there's someone that come in with a plan, and they stick to that plan no matter what. So hopefully this guy does that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would love to go back and watch some Cartoon Network on my TV again, you know, because I think...
shut up. You're going to watch it on Watch Cartoon, and you know it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But it's always a good feel. It's the same reason why I still go back to GameStop and buy hard disc. Like, I still have that child in me that still likes to go back and just, you know, turn on the TV, watch commercials and shit like that. Like, there's always a part of us.
What's a commercial?
Like, it's the same reason why I will never fully
think about that for a second. There will be an entire generation that doesn't know what the fuck a commercial is.
That's not true. With YouTube having them, like they've migrated over to YouTube and internet in general.
But there's ad blockers and shit.
Doesn't matter, because now websites are getting smart, and if you have fucking ad block on, they make you disable it.
Yep. So my my end goal was that, well, my thought process is now that we have a creator in the midst, can we see, because we talked about this before, right? We talked about this.
We've talked about this multiple times on the podcast, and we talked about this in other videos too.
This era of, now that we have the actual creator inside the studio, sitting down on the big seat, will we get more creative creators in Cartoon Network now? Will they start to finally...
Will we see the return of the Cartoon Institute?
I was just going to say that.
You know what I'm saying.
Mega props on that one. Yeah, like, Cartoon Institute was a thing they did back in, I don't even know, like 2009 or something. And, like, the idea was we're going to bring in a bunch of fucking, like, people to make cartoons, like 20 or something. And they're all going to be pilots. And we're going to, like, figure out which ones are, like, we like, or which ones should be made into full series. And that's where Uncle Grandpa and Regular Show came from.
And also, the predecessor to that brought us technically the original pilot for Adventure Time. We also saw Infinity Train come out as something similar to that as well. So
I'm so sad that... What was the fucking cartoon that was going to be a thing and then it got canceled? I think it was going to be on Disney, and it was like... what was it called? God damn it. Very Cool House or something. It was like... It had Aaron as a voice actor, and it was like co-created by the Vader Zim guy. Hold on, I gotta find it.
Okay, so my question to you both is I'm curious. So with this being the thing, and if he does this, do you think, like, I'd probably not, but I'm just curious, do you think with Cartoon Network's new sort of management, and if this guy does what we're predicting, you know, with this whole thing, do you think that could take people away, take creators away from, like, Netflix and Hulu and start going back to, like, actual, like, Cartoon Network again? Do you think that could be the case?
No.
Yeah, yes and no. I could see some being lulled away for the security of a long-term job, because let's face it, Netflix and Hulu and all these other streaming services focus solely on the numbers themselves. Like, this didn't get enough streams, so we're going to can it after this. And look at BoJack Horseman, one of the most popular shows on Netflix, got the axe by Netflix because it wasn't giving them enough. It wasn't continuing to be viewed, even though, let's be realistic here, it's one of the most talked about shows of this fucking generation of streaming. We see shows like Voltron get meddled with by executives, just like a big fucking show at, say, your Cartoon Network or your Disney or your Nickelodeon. So I could see them wanting to have that SpongeBob, fucking Teen Titans Go-esque longevity, but I could also see them liking that creative freedom that they get a little bit more on the other more independent platforms.
I don't think
too.
enough people watch
So
cable anymore.
It just depends on how they start running the network now, and with AT&T being at the helm of fucking all of Warner Brothers Entertainment, aka the parent company to the parent company of fucking Cartoon Network now. Who the fuck knows what the hell is going to go on behind scenes, because we see fucking AT&T meddling in everything over at Rooster Teeth as well, but also giving them a little bit more than Otter Media themselves did. So it's just give or take wherever we go now.
So no, cable's dead. There's no bringing it back. Sorry, like literally, we're beyond the point where we're never going to bring back our childhood. It's never going to be that way again. If Cartoon Network is to survive, and if this new leader, president, whatever the fuck he calls himself, is smart, what he's going to do is he's going to fucking make a streaming service just like Disney did. As much as I'm not a fan of that, that is the new way to go. I don't think we're ever going to see a TV network the same way as what we saw. It's just not the way. It's not what's in right now.
I guess only time will really tell.
And honestly, if Cartoon Network made a streaming service, well, see, they probably don't have enough shit. Like it's not like Disney. Disney has enough shit to make.
They have the entire Hanna-Barbera vault.
They do, but I still don't think that would warrant its own streaming service unless it was cheap, like $1 a month.
The good thing about them is that they have. Here's the thing that they have that could be in the beneficial. They have Toonami. They have DC. They have
DC. No, they don't have DC anymore. DC is part of the AT&T / Otter Media streaming library, and it's all regulated to the DC Universe app.
Oh well, I would
trust me. I have the DC Universe app solely so I can read comics.
They have some stuff they could probably use, but I see where Red's coming from with saying Disney has multiple companies under their belt, but if they really wanted to make a streaming service, they would have to, because it would just be it would just have to be something they could put Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, and Boomerang on. Everything that they ever had on these three sites, that will be packed into that streaming site, and that would be smart. However, I think the biggest issue is, well, first of all, if Adult Swim is going to be on there, probably a lot of parents not going to like that shit because that's going to be a
age gating.
I imagine they would just do kind of like a Netflix Kids type thing.
Yeah, because one thing we have to remember is that Adult Swim is still a part of the Cartoon Network family. No matter how many times people want to think Adult Swim doesn't exist, it does. I mean, Adult Swim has been making cartoons that have been very popular for a long time now. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Harvey Birdman, Rick and Morty, Squidbillies, Mr. Pickles. These are all adult cartoons.
Mr. Pickles.
Yeah, these are all adult cartoons that people still talk about to this day. So, I mean, for them not to include Adult Swim in their streaming service would be kind of detrimental, to be honest. So, and then Boomerang is just a site, a channel for old school, for nostalgia. So they could do it, but I think one of the biggest issues they would have is that obviously it would be competitive towards Disney Plus, but how it would be managed, right? So how much money it would be monthly, what would the starting cartoons be if they wanted to add it to the thing, right? I guarantee you they're going to put Teen Titans Go on that shit, probably Adventure Time, regular show, right? So I think it would have to be a mix of old and new, and
I just sent their entire library in the Skype chat.
And
it's actually a lot more than I thought it was too.
So I mean, I don't know. I think Red's right. I think a streaming service would be the right way to go. But do you think, now my question is, do you think that would be detrimental to the channel, Cartoon Network channel as a whole? Because I don't know if Disney Plus has affected Disney's cable blocks at all. I don't know that statistics, but
I'm just saying,
it's
man,
not...
it's just like, it'd be like if the newspaper tried to save itself today. It's not happening. I don't see anyone ever purposely sitting down and watching TV when in fact, if anyone did, like the people that would in like 20 years, if people sit down and purposely watch TV, it's going to be the same people that like buy vinyl records now. You know what I mean? Like, oh well, it's got this differentness to it that I love, and they shut up. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be like that. Like we all know streaming platforms are the way of the future, and I'm curious how that's going to go. And that's a whole other topic because they might be fucking capitalizing them out of existence, considering everyone's going to have their own separate one. And then people are going to start pirating again, and then they're going to have to maybe change it around to get people to stop pirating again. Who knows? But
I mean,
if anything,
the
it's not a streaming
Mandalorian's already
service.
up
If not
on
a streaming
pirate
service,
sites.
it's not a streaming service. Potentially, just like a website where you like could go and like watch it on their website as like a live stream. You know, like it would be like a channel, but it's on the website instead, and then they get their ad revenue through that. I mean, you could do a lot of things. Go ahead.
Like I was saying, like you bring up a very, very valid point there with the pirating thing, because the Mandalorian's already up on piracy sites.
You will never stop it.
Oh no, especially when there's a million fucking streaming services now. I'm not condoning piracy, but my God, it does look beautiful when you have all these different fucking services to the average fucking person that can't afford all of them or doesn't want to not see something, but they don't want to pay the $7.99 or whatever. And I'm subscribed to every single one of them, and I hate myself for it, but I want to support the official release. You know, I wish there was something akin to Verve for all these other services like Netflix and Hulu and all the bullshit that's coming out of the woodwork, to where I could just bundle all of that shit. Oh wait, that's fucking cable. It really, streaming has become cable 2.0, so it's just which is the lesser of two evils in your area at this point.
Right. And it still is, obviously, it's an upgrade from cable, because the point is, like, as much as they've made it worse because it's a million different things now, like, the obvious upgrade here is that you get to choose what you want to watch. Like, whereas back in the day with TV, you'd have to be like, when's it on? And now it's just like, I want this, you know?
But DVR made that quite convenient, too. Oh, I'm not going to be home at 3:50 to start, if in case this goes long, or in case this starts early. You know, like a sports event, or if you're into pro wrestling, sometimes it runs over.
Right, but obviously the point I'm saying here is that normal TV cable's never coming back.
No, it's not. It's just... And with, like you were saying, the better fucking choice for them would be to have a streaming service. Well, I kind of would... Or just the website thing. I could really see them doing the AT&T style or Warner Media streaming service and just bundling it all. Like, here's DC, here's all your Cartoon Network shit, here's all of the classic Hanna-Barbera cartoons, here's everything we fucking own. Let's even bundle Rooster Teeth in with it, because it's still under that same AT&T banner now. And then they could be like, okay, and there's everything. Make that $7.99 like Disney Plus, and then it would be actual value to compete with that other service. So, I guess final thoughts, wrapping this all up.
Yeah, so if you let us know in the comments if you actually liked Christina Miller's decisions from 2014 to now. Maybe you did. Maybe you thought she did a great job. I mean,
why
maybe
are you even opening that possibility up?
What I will give her credit
No, I asked Thurman a question. Hold on, go ahead.
I mean, different opinions, right? I mean, you never know. There's a lot of this. Teen Titans Go has been getting a humongous fan base as of late. So it does have a huge fan base now. So, I mean, if people really enjoyed how she treated Boomerang, how she treated Cartoon Network, let me know. Our videos are always discussion podcast based. If you disagree with anything we said, you are more than welcome to have a discussion with us in the comments. If you really think Christina Miller did a great job with Cartoon Network for the past years that she's been doing it, then let us know. Because all three of us agreed that she didn't do the best job. Now, like I said, we're not putting 100% the blame on her, because not all of it is probably her decisions. Maybe the higher-ups of, who beat her probably said, you do this because our statistics say kids like this, like how Red said. So it's not the full blame on her.
Exactly.
But as a CEO, she still has to say so in some decisions. So we're 50-50 on that. But okay. I'm just saying.
so you two, since we're opening this up for discussion in the comments, would you agree that she helped bring a younger audience into animation?
100%. She did. Like, there's no argument. 100%.
I know very little about the last 5 to 10 years of Cartoon Network. I didn't watch it.
She did.
Red, you have to agree that the target demographic for shows like Teen Titans Go and Clarence was definitely a younger audience than, say, our cartoons like Ed, Ed and Eddie, Samurai Jack, stuff like that. So, in a way, I kind of, at least personally, feel that she opened up that field for young audiences to get into potentially animation or cartoons in general, and maybe helping create a younger audience that might go into animation down the road.
Yeah, because I mean, cartoons in her era were like, because like stuff like Adventure Time and Regular Show, that was like, I would say that would almost be like the last era of like for teens, and that was like in 2010, right? So she started her shit in 2014, and then like stuff like Clarence and Uncle Grandpa, Amazing World of Gumball, that was like I think 2016 to now, right? So I mean, I think the transition is very obvious, and yeah, she did a good job because I mean, a few of her cartoons that I'm pretty sure she oversaw did do well, like Amazing World of Gumball, 6 seasons, very well known cartoon, had a huge fan base, did pretty well, even up towards ending, you know. Adventure Time Universe. Yeah, Steven Universe is done extremely well, humongous fan base, you know, like
albeit some cringy.
It's a fan base. Nothing we can do about that.
Exactly.
It's literally the copy and paste of My Hero Academia fandom. They're almost similar, 100%.
Yep, gotta agree.
Steven Universe is the American cartoon of My Hero Academia, 100%. Not even just in fan base wise.
But
right?
wrapping up, guys, because we're about to hit 40 minutes.
Yeah.
40 minutes. So I mean, what I hope to see from the next guy is maybe some change. Take what she's done from 2014 to now to heart. Don't be a corporate puppet, right? Speak for yourself. Think for yourself. Let creators be creators, right? Obviously, it's a business. Of course, you have contracts. But contracts fucking suck. They always will be. Mm-hmm. They always will suck. But at least try to let your creators have some sort of freedom. Take notes from Netflix and Hulu a little bit. Let them have creative freedom. Let Adult Swim and Cartoon Network and Boomerang be a competition. Let these young cartoonists compete a little bit for let their cartoons stay, because competition is good. We know this. Yeah. We've seen this.
And I think we have a good candidate here who's had their hands in Adult Swim mostly with Harvey Birdman, and hopefully this person will also continue treating Adult Swim as the edgier of them. Let's face it, we got Mr. Pickles, we got Rick and Morty. Over there, we have the middle ground in fucking Cartoon Network, and then we have hopefully restored to its former glory Boomerang, where we have all the older archives of cartoons. And then if you want to do a new series in that vein, like say you want to bring back Tom and Jerry for the millionth time, put it on Boomerang. Let it sit there alongside its predecessors in that series, and let it have a natural audience there. And so testing it here and then putting in the early morning slot, like we've seen with a lot of resurging cartoons, and giving them that 6 a.m. time block that eventually causes them to get canned.
All right. Well, I guess with that, peace.
Peace.